and embrace those of us whom have the virus, and in order to make them comfortable about talking about it,
what they have.
exactly, educating other people, so we can keep our whole community safe. You see.
And Ms. Williams, in terms of early intervention, what are some of the things that you find to be very, very important in terms of dealing with this disease?
I'm going to piggyback on Mr. Davis, and I'm going to say the stigma is one of the largest issues that we have. Me coming from a college education background, we never even discussed this in any of my classes, that once you have came in contact with this, people look at you like you are nothing anymore. That's why people are so harsh, and they don't want to disclose the fact that, yes, now that I have this disease, I got to keep to myself. I got to go in a shell, and now that I can't be in society like I was or once was. They think life is over. As it may seem at that time, it isn't. And so, as my job, one of my jobs is to instill in them the hope that life is not over, and then to also let them know that with the medical advances, the things that have came a long way from when the 80s, when HIV and AIDS were first introduced, until now, we have over 20-something drugs that people can take, and the drugs are designed to make them live a substantially longer life. And so, if they do the right things, eat properly, and take care of themselves as a normal person would, then they can live a productive life, and they can have productive relationships. But once they come in contact with HIV, they feel like, I can never have an intimate relationship again, because I'm not going to tell somebody that I have HIV or AIDS, because they're not going to want to talk to me. And it's the ignorance.
You know, one of the things that I'm curious about, what about the spirituality of some of these individuals? Does that ever come into play, a very, very fact of the spirit, them being spiritual beings and et cetera? Is that simply absent in terms of any kind of discussions that you have with them, or what?
I kind of feel out the situation. When I'm talking to a client, I can tell if they have any kind of spirituality, as far as most of the clients, when they first get diagnosed, they're like, I'm not going to believe it because I got my faith, and my faith is this, and this is it. And so I can go on that and say, well, you know, you took a chance, you got risky behavior, you did this, and now you have to take the responsibility for it. And so I can give them the information that I have, and tell them that, of course, if you're spiritual and you believe in this God or that God, your God will bring you out. And with that being said, don't lose your hope. Just don't lose your hope.
And as you've worked in we've got about a minute, Mr. Davis, and you've worked in this area for a number of years, and so you think that the stigma is still, as well as you, both of you think that the whole stigma thing that keeps us from being able to really deal with this as an issue.
Yeah, I think stigma definitely perpetuates the disease. It keeps us behind as far as in knowledge and even actions, because people do not act as they probably should, or in a healthy manner, when they are faced with the stigma and faced with, you know, living life with this virus. So it's stigma playing a big part. And, you know, miseducation, undereducation, that type of thing has a lot to do with it. But I think that if people were more open to talking about it and having these kind of discussions, we can move forward.
And of course, we're going to be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Streetworks